Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today for another episode of CCI Toronto's Checking In series. My name is Connie Pappas-Pachito. I'm a real estate agent along with a proud member of CCI Toronto. Today I have with me Brenda Hooper-Rowland, who is a condominium property manager at Johnson Village. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us on this journey to touch base with everybody in the industry and see how the world of COVID-19 has affected both our professional and our personal lives. How are you hanging in there?
It's been a rough road, to say, and the months have gone by very, very quickly. I have not been bored.
Sure. Brenda, why don't you tell us a little bit about your community, your day-to-day pre-COVID, and what sort of has changed in your world?
We manage a 548 property townhouse, and it's about 32 acres. So our daily is, taking care of the community, and of course that doesn't change even with COVID-19. However, it does emphasize the community more, because we have a group of people that we have really focused on the residents, and we've contacted all of our seniors and those people living alone to make sure they have support systems. So we actually came up with a group of people who do not have family in the area and do not have a mechanism. So we actually call them a couple of times a week to check in with them, see if they need anything. It's mostly, very much about more of a boutique kind of thing, because we are actually hired by the board to run the community. So we had implemented a wellness check. And what that means is that if you're feeling good, you put a green piece of paper on your door. And if you need something from the store and is unable to go, you switch the paper to yellow. So as people are walking by or your neighbors walk out of their house, they can see that you need something. And if they don't know how to contact, they contact the management, and we will contact them and get what they want. So a lot of what we're doing is just getting people to connect with each other and support each other. And it's just, you worry a lot. Like it's one of the things that people probably don't take into consideration is how much managers are really connected to their community and the individuals in it.
Yeah.
So it does really end up creating this almost stress level. Because you do end up working a lot of hours, trying to make sure everybody's taken care of, that everybody is safe.
Yeah.
And so you end up staying up at night, kind of going, okay, maybe, I need to check on this person, or what can I do to kind of make it better for the kids? We have a lot of families and things like that. So we have a lot of people that are putting up like flags, and kids that are doing rainbow drawings and putting on their front door. So just making people a little less scared, a little bit more have something to do to kind of support each other. So that's really what the emphasis of John's View has been, other than we don't have a high rise, so there's not a lot of cleaning duties and that type of thing. It's more support duties and making sure we're keeping the community safe.
So would you say that the makeup of your property is a big mix, or mostly seniors with a few families, or because each segment brings its own problems or challenges, right?
I would say it really is a mixed scenario that is going on in our community anyways. We have probably 70% is 3 or less in the units. So we do have a large family orient, but we do have quite a few seniors. We actually have a few people that are original owners.
Wow.
And this place was developed in 1976.
Amazing.
Right? So it's amazing to have these people here, and they tell you stories about there was no roads here. Like paved roads, right? So it's very, very interesting. And as you say, it's a mixture of needs and priorities.
For sure. It sounds like though your work, not that you don't work hard, but you're working twice as hard or twice as long these days.
Let's just say some of my friends are like posting I'm bored, and I'm like, I have no idea what that's like. And I would kind of like that to happen to me
Yeah,
just for a day or two, but you know, um, I like to be busy and I like to try and help people. So I'm really this person. If you have a crisis, I'm probably the person you want to have around anyways.
sure.
So it has been very interesting, but it is a struggle. Last week, I actually, just on a personal note, over the last 2 weeks, I've been doing a lot of work and I actually burned myself out.
Yeah,
And people don't really talk about it. It's a real issue, whether you're a frontline or you're essential worker taking care of a condo. And I literally had to shut down for several days because I had just worked so many hours that I was making myself sick.
yeah.
And people really need to kind of prioritize on that. So, I mean,
Absolutely.
what do you do to de-stress in these times?
Um, I'm lucky that I play a musical instrument, so I have a piano. So when my husband's not taking calls because we're both working from home,
Right.
I'm like, are you done? Okay, de-stress on that. Or get out for walks, go for bike rides, try and read a lot of good books. I don't know. It's stressful though as well because when you're not doing things and like you said, you're used to being busy. On the flip side, when you're not busy, some people are loving it. They're on vacation mode. Other people are chomping at the bit. So
Well, and they're wondering what's going to happen to them after all of this.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you're in real estate. How is this whole thing affecting you?
It's people are still moving, but not nearly as there's not nearly as much activity because you know just like you're in people's homes, we're in people's homes. Nobody
Right.
wants people in their homes, right?
Right.
But speaking of homes, when are you usually in an office at the complex, or are you working from home?
It's a combination
Okay,
thereof. We were working from home for a couple of weeks, and then our staff kind of gradually went back to work. We do have an office on site. It is a separate building because we're
yeah,
dealing with townhomes. We do not have to go into the units very often.
sure,
So unless there's an emergency, we are not entering the units. Now that we're starting to open up, then that's a different story. So our whole premise from a maintenance perspective is to keep the place safe and
right.
address the issues that we have on the outside and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
So
because I mean, for townhomes, usually what's inside the unit is the owner's responsibility, and it's usually you guys are doing common areas and roofs and windows and that stuff, right?
well, John's View does, we do have electrical and plumbing inside the units. It's a little bit different that
Okay,
way. But it's very, we don't have a lot to do in there. Um, but it's, we want to be supportive of the homeowners where we can.
right.
Majority of it is outside, roofs, windows, brick, driveways,
Yep. Have you
that
had
type
to
of
put
thing.
any projects on hold because of COVID?
You know, we haven't quite determined exactly how we're going to do. Now, one of the newer projects that we're going to be doing is some roof replacements, and that's outside. We're very lucky on
Yes.
that. But we are also in a 4-year of a 5-year window replacement project.
Mm,
And so we are reviewing all the options. Things are gradually starting to open up. But we're at the stage we're going to have to sit down with the contractors, the engineers, the board to try and decide how and if we will proceed with this.
right.
So it's really at this point there's a lot of there's still some unknowns. Although we're opening up, it's still some unknowns. And then you have the factor of people really not wanting you into their homes. Maybe not yet, maybe later on. So there's still some conversations that have to happen with regards to the projects.
Yeah, and I think uh, even the smallest little shop to the largest corporation, everyone's just trying to figure out what the best way to move forward is.
You spend all your time trying to anticipate what could possibly happen. So you're ready to go, right away. I was doing that for months. It's like, okay, well, if this happens, I want to have the products and the contracts in place and the quotes in so that I could get the contractors on site first, because everybody's
Yeah, getting that
everybody's
too.
after the same people, right? And you want to say, no, I've got your money right here. Please come to us first.
Well, actually, you bring up a good point, not just from getting back in the queue, but have there been service providers that, although have been deemed essential and allowed to work, have backed off and said, you know what, we're not comfortable.
We are lucky so far. Our contractors, I think we have fabulous contractors, and they are more of an extension of our management. We have relationships with them. So they have been really good. They have been understanding when they can come on and things had to be done. They were here, no questions asked. So that hasn't been an issue with us so far.
That's fantastic. And you mentioned that you do have an on-site office and that you guys are going in. How are you managing, the COVID guidelines to keep yourselves safe? I mean, obviously residents are a priority, but if, like you said, if you burn out or you get sick.
Right. Exactly. You have to be very careful. So we started off people working from home, and then we're alternating days in. And I'm very conscious of where the desks are located.
Yep.
So, the two closest ones would be in an alternating days. The two, further ones would be. So, we kind of kept that all in mind. And, now we're getting back to routine. Everybody's a little bit more comfortable. We've done a lot of measuring, as many people have. Okay, you can come in and you can come in. For the managers, we have the capabilities of working from home, so that kind of helps out so that the people can be on site and people can be comfortable and feel safe in the environment. And so we can go in on the evenings or weekends or log on and do things remotely. So, but we're still on site 2 to 3 days a week, and 5 days a week for the regular staff.
Sure.
So we're getting there. We're gradually building back up. And I think that has to happen in a slow process to make people feel safe.
Absolutely.
And they get comfortable with what returning to a norm.
Sure. And I guess I'm assuming that not as many residents are coming to visit you in the office these days.
We still do not allow residents in the office. I think everybody can email, and we have a drop-off box and things like that. We do get back to them. We try and do the best we can based on the volume that's coming in. But yeah, they don't come in unless we actually book a meeting. And when we do so, we make sure that area is clear and one person's at one end of the boardroom and the other one's at, that type of thing. So you really have to be thoughtful of the whole process.
Yes.
Because once you get close to people, I find people forget.
Yeah.
About the pandemic, and I know I do too. Like hi, but yeah, I can't shake your hands, and you kind of forget. So you have to be mindful, and you have to set things up ahead of time,
right?
So you know exactly what it is. You can't just run in and go on the fly like you used to, right? Oh, I can. Do that. So you have to be more thoughtful.
Absolutely. Yeah. Last question for you. You mentioned meeting rooms, which got me thinking, monthly board meetings, AGMs. What's the scoop there?
We are actually doing virtual meetings with our board. It's a whole new process and a whole new life. But it has worked out quite nice. And we're actually in the middle of organizing a owner's bylaw meeting, a special meeting that's coming up next week. So we're going to try and do a homeowners meeting virtually as well. In order to accomplish what we have to accomplish for the next budget, we have to get this done now. So it has been a very interesting time trying to put everything together. So much easier when things are like normal process.
Yeah.
But we all stretch and we all learn, and I don't know about you, but I think there's processes and things that we have all gone through that I think I'll keep some of them. They're working.
No, for sure.
And then there's others I never want to do again, right? So, I
I
mean,
imagine you have to scour through and get all of your residents' email addresses because that's hard to do.
oh no, oh sorry, I should say that when we started the pandemic started, I like was hearing about this in January, and I'm kind of a crazy person. So I was getting things, ready. So when it actually came down, we started doing communications to our homeowners. And we're probably on issue number 18 or something now. We were doing 2 to 3 communications, email blasts out to our homeowners. Okay, guys, this is what you have to do. It's time to start, getting, and I was conscious not to communicate what was available on the TV.
Right.
Right. So, you can get that information. So how does it here? That's how we communicated. And it just came out of my husband and I being at home, and we said, you know what? Nobody would ever know we were dead or alive in here because the front door never opened. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe we'll do if we feel that way, other people do. And that's how, the alert system came along and other little things. And so there's been a lot of communication, which, we've gotten some positive feedback from people saying that it made them more comfortable with what was going on, and knowing that they were still being taken care of, even though we weren't in, they could see the communication. So for us, I think I think there's something like 98% of our residents are email.
Perfect.
So it is very easy for us to communicate with them. There's very few now that are not. So it's one of the things we've been working on for the last few years that in a time like this has really, really proven to be success.
Good for you. Good for you. I'm really interested to hear about how this meeting goes next week, this new online. You got to fill me in.
Too.
Well, Brenda, thank you so much for allowing us to check in with you. Please remember to take some time for yourself.
I will. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me.
Absolutely. I think everybody's just taking it one day at a time. So it's nice to connect, at least virtually, with somebody other than the person I live with. And I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yes, absolutely. The cat's not doing it anymore.
I hear ya. All right. Well, you have a wonderful day, Brenda, and thank you again so much.
Thank you so much, Connie. Take care.
You too.
This is Tanya Halleck, the president of CCI Toronto. CCI Toronto can help your condo achieve social and financial success. Thank you for listening.